All right, so here's the deal. Excuse me, sorry. So I now have my Hello Kitty compact. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you. All right, so I can look at myself. Can you see? Ah, there's two of me. There's too many. All right, so how do I? God, the mirror. All right. So I'm gonna. This is miserable. I'm gonna want. I want to use my mirror again. If you want to use your cell phone or something, that's fine. Or again, if you want to draw up a photograph, that's fine too. I'm gonna try and draw from life for the sake of the demo. Hey, look, there's you. That's you right now. All right. Anyway. Okay. So here I am. Hi. All right. Here we go. So I'm gonna want to start off, like I said, with a larger paintbrush. In fact, because the paper that I'm using here, this mat board, is a little bit smaller, it's kind of a medium paintbrush. Now, you are more than welcome, if you feel comfortable, kind of sitting and sketching this out first, or you're more than welcome to just kind of jump directly into the painting. Awesome. So you're going to want to try to find a place where you can set up, again, if you have a photograph, great, or your mirror, awesome. But you're going to want to set that up so that you can see what the heck you're doing. And you're going to go through and you're going to go through and kind of think about like the basic shape, right? So we talked about this before, but again, kind of the simple idea of, you can see it, the simple idea, I'm telling you that you can see it. Bring it close to the light, there you go. So we've already talked about this before, but the simple idea of being able to kind of break something down into its bare bones basic shapes, right? We've talked about blocking in all this stuff before. So if I want to sit down and kind of sketch it first, I'm going to think about kind of the overall shape for things. Okay, my nice bulbous head. I'm going to divide that up. Think about where my eyes go. Again, the eyes go in the middle of the head, right? Got kind of a cheek somewhere in there. And really what I'm doing is I'm kind of putting marks down to kind of figure out where I am. Hi, sir. Now, I will tell you this. At this point in your kind of artistic evolution, you are more than welcome to slowly but surely start to reject the things that I've taught you over the years. Only because at this point you know what's going on. I don't need you to go through every single step. Oh, the eyes have to be here. I will block them. You already know how to do that, I'm hoping. And if you don't, if you do not feel comfortable drawing a human head, then you need to go back and watch the videos from Art 1 because you got problems. What's that? Thank you. Thank you. I know. I have the ads set up. You gotta make. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Believe it or not, guys, I'm telling you, teaching does not always pay. I'm sure it feels good, but it does not always pay. Much like crime. Much like crime. I've got a weird eyebrow thing going on. My forehead is pretty bulbous. Thank you. Thank you. Well, the upside, my ears are not nearly as wide as they used to be. They used to be gigantic. Yeah, I took a... Yeah. Yeah, they used to be a really good character trait. I used to be able to like go like that and just throw a big Dumbo ear on there and you were good to go. But... All right, so all I'm saying, so you are welcome to sit down and kind of hammer out this basic form, okay? You're welcome to do that if you feel that you need kind of an underlying structure. That being said, you're also welcome to throw caution to the wind. We're going to do just that. Here we go, caution. All right, so whenever you start sketching, right, obviously we don't want to sketch, with like black, because then we have to paint over this, obviously, it's just a sketch. So if I'm going to think about kind of my skin, right, I've got that warm skin here, but then, of course, you guys have seen, like, your veins sometimes, and they're blue in there and all nasty and weird and stuff. In case you're wondering, your blood is not actually blue inside of you. That's weird. So I'm going to start with kind of a really paled out blue color for my sketch. Just going to mix something up. Just enough to differentiate between the paper. You don't have to use a pale blue. I like to work with a cooler color. Okay. So very similarly to the drawing that I was doing here, very similarly, I'm kind of thinking about that in the process while I draw my self-portrait. This mirror is just incredibly too small. Hello Kitty was not made for a grown man. No, thank you. All right, so we're going to give this a whirl. So if I'm thinking about something, okay, so I'm going to start kind of sketching out and thinking about, really, again, I'm not thinking so much about line as much as basic shadow. And again, if you happen to take digital design, then you've already got a one up because you already understood the concept of vectors. And vectors are a prime way of thinking about painting because you are painting with kind of shape. Now again, if you want to sit down and kind of pencil this out ahead of time, you are more than welcome to. House of mirrors everywhere. Okay. So what I want to start thinking about as I'm painting is, again, kind of building up that value of color. And again, if you notice, like, it's not perfect. You're getting little fuzzy edges over here. It's not the end of the world. Because I'm going to go back and put on a background here in a second. I'm letting it be messy. Okay. I'm going to want to think about, as I'm painting this, I'm going to want to think about the artist that I'm emulating their style, whatever that style may be. And I also want to think about, how I want to mix and match the background, right? So if I want a certain color, in my case, I'm going to rock out some good olivey green for my background. Mix up a good bit of that. I want to have some of this on the side in case I do make mistakes along the way, but really it's just about filling up your space. I think a lot of times we get it in our heads that you have to be dainty or delicate. Again, you kind of do whenever it comes to drawing, maybe a little bit, but you got to get over it. You just put some paint on the page. You can always paint over it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's how. Look at that. No, this is how we go now. Yes, this is a nice mildewy green. It's really keeping it quality over here. Think about too as you're going along. Think about, oh my God, another gradient. Think about as you're going along. Think about your brush strokes. Think about what kind of style you're going for. In this particular case, I'm going a little bit more impressionistic-y. Nobody asked for your opinion. There's moans in the background here. Everyone's complaining. All right, so I've got something down. Again, this whole process took me about 13 seconds. Right? It's not amazing. It doesn't have to be amazing. Just get something down. Okay? Don't overthink it. Just get a little something on the page. Okay? All right. So next step, as we're working with acrylic, and again, you can go out and buy actual mediums that you can add into your acrylic that can get them significantly nicer, and they'll last longer, they'll dry a lot slower, which is good in acrylic's case. But assuming that you do not have some kind of retardant that you can kind of add into your mixture here, a simple, easy way is just grab a little bit of water. The only real downfall of adding water into your acrylic paint is that over time it can crack. The paint can kind of dry a little bit too funky, and it can cause this little crackling motion going on. For the sake of our projects, nobody cares, right? Just saying. But down the line, if you decide that you like painting and you want to paint full time, just invest in a $20 bottle of some kind of medium that can slow the process again. Some kind of it's called a retardant. It's just a white goop, and you jupe it in there, and it mixes up. It's great. Jupe and jupa. It's a new word. It's a new word. It's way cool. You know, my art ones don't talk back all this much. I'm just saying.
Was your art one class this morning? Was that your first period?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. First period or something?
Yeah, it's a big glass. It's a big glass. It thins down pretty quickly by the time you guys get to Art 3. You guys are it's only like 15, yeah? 10 or 15. All right, so now I want to start mixing up some skin colors, right? But again, remember, rule of thumb, right? I'm always dealing with at least 1, 2, and 3 values, right? I've got kind of my regular, just basic skin color. I've got my highlight, and I've got my low light, right? My shadowy values. So I'm going to mix in, first things first, I'm going to mix up a quick brown. I'm going to do that by mixing up a purple first. It's a little bit too read. Mix in some yellow into my purple. Remember, yellow and purple are complementary colors, so by mixing and matching them, you're going to get a pretty good brownish color. We want to keep it a little more on the warm side, so what I have right now, this kind of chocolatey milk color here is pretty good. We're going to take some of that, I'm going to play in the middle here a little bit. Add a little bit of white to get a really light highlight value. And again, here's the thing, stay as far away from the white and the black as possible. If you need to lighten something, that's fine, but the problem is it also mutes that color. So even if I take some more yellow now and mix it in, it's always going to be a little bit duller than it possibly could have been. Right? So, got a couple different values. I'm going to make a cooler color for my shadow, still sticking within the brown value. Notice I'm still using a pretty honkin' big brush. Definitely not being able to get any level of detail. So don't even think about drawing, eyeballs and stuff like that. We're just not there yet. All right, good enough. Now, at this point, I'm a fan of working light to dark. If you think about painting a house or something, I can always paint over a light color. It just makes things easier. Some of you guys are already doing that. That's fine. There are ways of painting dark to light. I just don't prefer it. So I'm going to start with kind of my light value here. Think about my skin value. And I've got some yellows in there, so I'm going to kind of grab some more yellow in there too. I want to start kind of adding where my highlights are. My highlights coming from this direction. Now again, if you want some super photorealism, you're going to have to examine basically just taking your brush strokes down a peg. And every time you do, you're going to add a little bit more detail. Notice again, right now I'm kind of poking at the paper a little bit. You don't have to. It's just kind of how I'm going here. A bit lighter. What's that?
Make it look so easy.
Oh, you can do this. You can do this fine. Notice it's still pretty. It's pretty basic look. I mean, it kind of looks like the Elephant Man right now.
Don't talk about the
What's wrong with the Elephant Man?
It's sad and depressing.
Oh.
It's so sad. Yes.
So I'm kind of adding on basically anything anywhere that I have some highlights. And again, I went way beyond my chin right there, so I can clean that up later on. Again, if you mess up, no one cares, right? I mean, I care. I'm going to fail you, but otherwise, someone else does not care. I'm going to pause this for 2 seconds here and show you something to think about. We're going to readdress whenever we get back to drawing anatomy. We're going to readdress this idea, but to help you kind of visualize what's happening, what I'm thinking about is again shape, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, I've got kind of a lighter side right here, so I'm going to fill this shape in with a lighter color. Right? Maybe there's a highlight here-ish. I've got a little bit of a reflected light on my cheekbone here. It's lighter on this side of my nose, right? But I'm thinking about chunks, and that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing is painting in the chunks of color as I'm going along. right? Then I'll switch gears and do any chunk of color that is a medium value, and so on and so forth. Okay? So, get some of these colors in here. Anytime that your painting or drawing looks a little too flat, that is because there's not enough value in it. Yes. A little bit of shadow underneath the chin, like I said, we'll kind of clean that up. Again, I'm going over the line here, but who cares? I'll clean that up later on with my whenever I do my shirt. You all good over there, Julie Jane? The thing? The similarities between my painting
You should change
and the
it.
thing.
Just make it the thing instead, because that's what it looks like. Also, you said you wanted to make a, you know how you all looked at your wrist and like see this little blue vein, you can start killing yourself.
Touche, Gillen. Touche. Okay. To answer that though, I can't do that. To answer that, you can obviously change these brown values here, and add in more purples, and that will change the nationality or racial breakup of your painting.
You're telling me how bad your compact mirrors and just using the look.
Well, I was trying to find you. You were like, hey.
He's okay. He's busy.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so I'm just going to kind of burn through this a little bit, but again, you just kind of go back and forth a little bit. Now, the upside is this. At this point, I've got, you know, a dimensional head. I mean, there's some value. I know where the eyeballs will go and stuff. The downfall is it's kind of boring. Like you said, it does kind of look like the thing. I mean, it's orangey, right? So start to, again, like I said, kind of break free of the whole idea of painting or using it as just coloration, right? How can I plug in more stuff? So I'm going to start thinking about, okay, those shadows have some more kind of purpley bluish to them, right? So now I'm going to get really whacked out. Here we go. Brace yourself. Are you ready? What is happening? I got some reds. Here comes the blue. Oh no! Here it goes. Here it goes. We're double dipping on the blue. Yep. Yep. So I'm gonna use some. Oh. What?
What's going on?
Why would I do that?
I'm
Why?
shocked.
What?
I do not know.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's unfathomable.
No, I'm talking.
Oh.
I spent like 50 years in the tree. It is. That's how I feel.
It's your
He's
standard
dead
bit
now.
one.
Essentially.
Oh yeah. This is definitely Zombieland going on all of a sudden.
Old.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is Kozak. You know, 90 years from now.
You and your eating dad.
I can look at this. I can throw in some greens.
Why?
Why? What? Why not?
That's a real question, though.
Why would you?
It's a real question.
Just
You're not answering.
no, not mix in
I don't.
some color.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome.
This
We need some yellow. Ready? You want some whacked out yellow? Here we go. No. We gotta have some more fun with this. We need some color.
It's all turned into swampy green. It's gonna get Shrek in a second.
Clean that paintbrush.
I'm going to use a smaller paper.
Oh, you can. All right, I'll switch. Oh God, there's the mirror. This to spend 4 more years setting this up. Yeah, it's gonna come back with green swamp colors on it. All right, Kayla, just for you, here's a smaller paintbrush with solid yellow on it, just to, yeah.
You just making that green thing happen.
What happens if I throw some blue in here?
Why?
Pull your shadows down. Well, if you're basing it on an artist who's hyper realistic, what if I'm not? Right? There are a lot of artists out there who use significantly more vivid colors in their artwork. But again, just remember the whole concept of cool versus warm, right? How can I kind of play these colors off of each other, use that juxtaposition to its advantage? Oh, it's definitely some weird mutated person, but there's still a person in here somewhere.
Yeah, but if I shut that time off, she'd be like, is this supposed to, did you fail this project?
That's what happens whenever I bring something that's not traditional artwork home. My mom's like, oh, this is nice. You're like, thanks.
She cares, I guess.
She cares, I guess.
Are you failing?
You failed.
You fail art. All right, so we're having a little bit of fun. I'm gonna mix up some more purple. Okay, so I've got some cool reds going. What if I did some? Work up with some reds. I want to heat this up a little bit. Oh man, red.
Oh, yeah.
What? And now I have a forehead wound.
The zombie thing is still there. I don't
The red is so there.
Egregious.
Red is so there. No, it's so there. And I'm just
I'm sorry. So, play around. Like really, kind of get at it. Don't just color. I don't want to see Crayola tan skin. That's boring. Unless, of course, your artist uses literally that.
They have the multicultural skin.
I know they do.
That's important.
Yeah, he just blushes all over the lips.
That's
Yep.
the lips.
Yep.
They lips.
Would you like me to, Kayla? Okay. Here you go. This is just for you. You want a deeper green? Is that what you're?
No,
A darker green.
All right. Let me play to your sensibility. Okay. Here you go. All right. You okay now? Is that?
It looks like the human skeletal, like muscular system. It looks like you have no skin. That's what it looks like.
Right?
It looks like
That's okay.
just muscles.
That's all right. I'm okay with that.
Maybe
All right.
it's the projector.
It could be. And keep in mind, it is like there's some weird,
It very well could be
yeah,
at this point.
there's some whacked out colors going on. So I'm gonna play around here. Let's see. I'm wearing a blue shirt today.
I'm not following. It doesn't look blue. That's not blue. That's sandwich
What's that? No, God no. I'm not, dude. Trust me. I want you guys, as you go along, if you find that you are enjoying painting, go out and explore it on your own accord. I am not a good painter, I assure you. No, yeah, but here's the key.
It's just an example of how awful Patron is.
Well, but here's the key, and I mean this, right? You guys can absolutely get significantly better than I can. My background's in drawing. Remember that. So I have the same kind of mental difficulties that you guys have, as far as wanting to. I want to perfect my painting. I want to get this nice, magical, perfect color and all that. And you have to break free, right? You have to just stop and accept that it's not about the perfect color. It's not about any of that. I'm just painting, and if I mess up, i.e., mutant face over here, who cares? What What's the difference? When I was interested in art, I don't know. I guess I was always drawing at some level. Keep in mind too. A little bit of backstory, right? I was only child, so I had a lot of free time on my hands, and so because of that that free time, I was able to really kind of dig in and play around, and do something that was kind of to myself.
What about study-wise, like learning, like big
Well, I had the same kind of classes you guys had. I had high school art. But I didn't actually. I actually never took a art class in my actual high school. I went to I went to a VOTEC for half the done, and that VOTEC helped me with commercial arts. I didn't really get into fine art until college, other than just drawing. And even then, I was drawing cartoons when I was in your age. So, you guys don't have that much more, or much less experience than I do. But be a little bit more tenacious. Yeah, that's a $5 word for the day right there, guys. Be a little bit more tenacious. Mess up. Be willing to mess up. If you don't like something, paint over it, or let it dry and then paint over it.
So I can paint over my
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so I've got a little bit more detail here. Again, it's still pretty abstracted, obviously. But so now I'm going to switch over, get a little bit smaller brush, and get some finer details in here. And kind of pull this guy into a little more something something. So again, as you're painting, you want to think about warm and cool, right? Like we talked about. So think about what colors would go where. Also think about kind of pulling things out a little bit more. So for example, if I want to paint my eye, I'm not going to use pure white. Your eye is not pure white, I promise you. So it's kind of like muddy white. Okay. Get a little bit of like an eye in here. You're going to notice on its own, this white is almost a brown. But whenever I put it next to the really dark background, again, that contrast, I'm going to make something pop. Sink it into the head a little bit. What, watching Bob Ross do this for a little while? I can throw some Bob Ross on there.
Happy tunes.
If you don't feel super confident with your painting ability, then make sure whenever you're choosing your artist, you pick someone that's a little more expressive and kind of learn about why they chose to go in that direction with their artwork. Not really, no.
Who would you pour for that?
I like to waste paint. Yeah.
We do that with bad students.
Yeah, when it's
If you do that, you're just a horrible example.
Yep. I'll put it back. It's okay.
Oh, look. All of it. You're gonna paint a UFO in the background.
Also, I don't know if you guys can really see what I'm doing here, but you can buy tools that will literally help you kind of prop your hand up. I tend to use my left hand, and I'll kind of like put my index fingers underneath here, so I'm weighing my wrist on top of this hand, and that way my hand never touches the paint. Pro tip. This is me being very unenthused.
Or even the best.
Will that joke ever get old? No, is the end scene.
Save your life. By far the best.
Alright. So I'll keep working on this on the side a little bit. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. Just for the sake of the class. I still have to do some work down the lips that I definitely have a weird lazy eye thing going on that right?
It's a really intense smolder.
Now here's the deal. The great downfall of whenever you're painting with acrylics is the fact that the smart move right now is to go through and be able to, I'm going to kind of mess it up a little bit, so bear with me, but be able to go over and start to blend these colors so that I get a little bit more even value. The downfall is that because this is wet, really all you're seeing right now is me pushing water around. I'm not getting a nice even blend. But the key is, again, I'm thinking in kind of chunks of color. I'm going through, and those chunks are going to be what allow me to kind of go through and fix my painting a little bit right now. So I've definitely got a lot more work to go, and as you guys will too, because my eyes are pretty jacked up. They are. It's okay. But again, right? So we're kind of working on something almost there, kind of maybe. I've got a lot more to go, but I kind of like this eye. I think there's a lot of cool shadows going on there, right? The background, the gradient. So again, it's nothing, right? It's just painting, right? So remember your basics, and like I said, think about shape. Think about shape. Do not think about trying to do anything else. Whenever you go to paint, literally painting in by the numbers. And then if your paint is still wet, once you got those shapes down, if your paint is still wet, then you're lucky enough you can kind of blend those colors out so you have a little bit more of a gradient where it fades from light into dark. That's the goal. Okay? Make a little sense? Kind of, sort of, maybe? Okay. All right. So